What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the D.O.G podcast. As always, I'm Drew with German and OC, and this week we'll talk a little bit about the blunders in Week 15, and maybe talk a little bit about the LA Bowl champs, Fresno State Bulldogs.
Speaking of blunders, Drew, what's
I
up
knew
with
it, you
them?
son of a bitch! You
Right off
always,
the bat, let's
you.
go.
Hey,
I
hey,
was telling
shout out to Shu because the Jags never
you've
get
been
any
wanting,
love. The Jags
you've been
never get
wanting,
any love.
You've been wanting this to happen since our very first podcast
Been holding
when
on,
I just started going in on Jacksonville.
and could potentially sneak their way into the playoffs because
I don't
of
give a fuck about
the
that.
Cowboys blundering. Man, let's go ahead. Let's cover that very first.
So let me tell you, I was talking to Nick and Rudy and Elias before I came home, and I was like, Nick's like, oh, so I asked him, if he's gonna be on tonight, and he's like, oh, I'm probably gonna be at work,
Yeah.
and so Nick was like, so are you guys gonna talk about soccer, or are you guys just gonna do football? I was like, we'll probably just do football, and I said, and the Cowboys lost this week, so guaranteed German's gonna bring up the Cowboys. I was like, that
Very
asshole
first
never
thing.
wants to talk about the Cowboys unless they lose. He's one of those guys. Uh,
Hey,
it the
I brought it up when they beat the shit out of the Vikings because it was impressive. So I gave
okay,
credit where
yeah,
credit was due.
okay,
right?
yeah. The one outlier, probably the best performance of any NFL team so far this season, and you're like, let's bring that up. Obviously, the defense, man. What carried us through those games without Dak Prescott is now letting the team down. I know what everyone's talking about, the Dak Prescott interceptions. I don't believe either of them are really his fault. If you look at the first one, his arm gets hit as he throws. You can't do anything about that. And the second one, it fucking hit Noah Brown in the arms. Like that's a first down. Like you got to make that catch. And then I went on to Twitter and there's a lot of guys like going in at Noah Brown like this bum needs to never play again and this and that. I'm like, dude, he had 2 touchdowns that game. Right. He's also been a dog for us like the last 3 seasons. He's always been a special teams guy and basically a receiver that came out on run situations just to block. And whenever we called his number, he always showed up. I mean, last week he made a diving catch to keep the game alive that led to the win over the Texans. So it's one of those games where there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The defense played like shit. Jacksonville had over 500 yards against us. The offense was up to my standard. I mean, you went on the road and you put up 34 points. That's impressive. You would like to Dak to be able to put that game away, and I think he was on the verge of putting that game away in OT until the ball deflects off Noah Brown and is returned for pick 6. But the biggest point here for me is the defense. The defense really let the team down, and they've been pretty shaky last couple of weeks. So we kind of got to figure it out. They need to get their fucking ass smacked and reevaluate everything that's going on. And maybe a loss like this will help the Cowboys in the long run.
So OC, I remember you called it a trap game the other day, right? But I mean, looking at the rest of the season for the Jaguars, it's not like this Jaguars have been completely terrible, right? They've been being able to put some games together, and Trevor Lawrence is playing a little bit better. Do you think it was a trap game, or do you think let's give a little bit more credit to Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think you have to give Jacksonville a little bit more respect because of what they've been doing the last couple weeks, So they have a big game, I think, this week against the Jets, which can actually improve their playoff positioning. So, or at least get them in the mix, even like get them at a higher percentage for that wild card.
Especially with Tennessee keeps losing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you can't throw the division out of the realm of possibilities for them too, as well. If you bring up if Tennessee keeps blundering down the stretch, so that's still a possibility for them as well. But yeah, I think you got to give credit to what the Jags have been doing, because I mean, like, they beat Tennessee last week. Obviously, they beat Dallas this week. They beat the Ravens earlier in the year.
Right.
But now if they can beat the Jets, they get the Texans, and then they finish off with the Titans at home. So that could potentially be for the division crown and a playoff spot.
Right. So yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to ask you guys. I mean, we talk about like blunders, and we talk about how these big teams are losing, to teams with terrible records. But we look at, say, like the Texans, where 2 weeks in a row they had, you know, two, potentially conference leaders against the ropes.
Hmm.
Do you guys think it is their trap games, their blunders, or I mean, you can't just or teams are just letting off the gas a little bit, or these lower end teams are performing a little bit better now.
When I watched both games, I thought both teams were pretty impressive. The Texans and the Jags. You
Right.
watch that Jags game. I mean, Etienne was able to do whatever he wanted. Um, um, Trevor Lawrence was able to find anyone he wanted, and I don't know if that's good scheming against Cowboys defense or if that's Cowboys defense just like we're playing the Jags or we're playing the Texans and they're letting off the gas. Like we said before, these guys are all dudes in the NFL, right? They're all NFL players. They're all elite level football players.
Right.
So you can't let off the gas at any one point. I mean, it any given Sunday these guys could win.
OC, what do you think, man?
I think it has a little bit to do with teams. I mean, it's a long season, so there's gonna be weeks where maybe you're not just as interested in a game or in a game plan that week because
Hmm.
Dallas like does have that huge matchup with Philly on Christmas Eve, and but it was 2 weeks in a row where you looked up at the scoreboard and you're like, wait, how is Houston up with 2 minutes left, or how
Right.
is Jacksonville knocking you off, and it
Hmm.
was I mean, like Drew says, these guys are paid professionals, right? So I mean, they're not gonna just roll over and sit there and take a
Hmm.
butt whooping. So you got to give guys credit to where, or they're playing for maybe their next contract, or they're playing to put something on their film for next year because maybe they might not end up where they're at, but they need to show up every Sunday.
Hmm. Let's talk about that game, the one you brought up with Cowboys and the Eagles coming up, because speaking about teams who can just come up out of nowhere. I mean, Chicago also had Philadelphia on the ropes, right? And then Jalen Hurts
Hmm.
had to come up with a big play to win the game. But now for this game coming up, Jalen Hurts, I guess, may be uncertain for this week because he's got a little dinged up shoulder in his throwing arm. Did
Hmm.
I mean that game is huge, right? Like,
It's extremely huge, but it's
mhm,
not as big because the Cowboys lost this week.
right.
If the Cowboys would have handled business against the Jags, this game would be 10 times bigger because it would be damn near a must win for the Eagles to keep that division lead. But now they really have a 3 game lead over the Cowboys. If the Cowboys win, then it's back to a 2 game lead, and they said that Hurts might not be back even for the following week. So then that's where you might consider playing him through an injury or something like that to try and preserve that home field bye. But I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like when the Cowboys played the Eagles the first time, the Eagles were all high and mighty, right? Because they beat the Cowboys when the Cowboys had Cooper Rush. And now I see a lot of Eagles fans on Twitter. They're like, it doesn't mean shit if we got, if you congrats, you guys are gonna play against Gardner Minshew. So now it's like roles are reversed.
Right. How the
But
turntables have.
yeah. Something to notice is the Eagles run the ball really well. They got a great offensive line. Cowboys have been unable to stop the run lately, and they will be out with Leighton Vander Esch this week. I think Leighton Vander Esch has been like the backbone of the run defense. It hasn't been
Hmm.
great, but he's been the best part of it. And
Right.
without him playing against the Eagles, that's gonna be tough, So I really don't know what adjustments they're gonna be able to make, but they couldn't stop the run north and south, and they couldn't stop the run laterally either. They came out with like 4 jet sweeps that ran for like almost 70 yards in total or something like that
Right.
this last week. So it'll be interesting, but hopefully the Cowboys are able to take advantage of a backup quarterback.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and let's go ahead. Let's go into the AFC, and OC, let's talk about how you're not the bad juju for Tua. Apparently, it's a
That's
that clears your name, man. You're
that's
good.
the good news, right?
It's the good
OC's
news.
not the
It's the
bad
good
luck. I'm
news.
gonna have to make a new TikTok edit for you now, OC.
Bad news is
They still lost.
they're on the ropes, man. They could potentially
Yeah.
lick themselves out of the big party after such a hot start, man. What do you think is going down there in Miami?
Uh, Specifically breaking down the game, I think it was. I told Drew we were on our way back from the bowl game. We were watching it in the car, and
Right.
there was a sequence where Miami gave up a touchdown right before the half, right with no time left. That's 7 points, and then a 2 point conversion early on in their comeback where they didn't get
Right.
it. So there was a 9 point swing, and you ended up losing by 3. So those were two critical plays that kind of pretty much played a factor into the outcome of the game. But at the end of the day, it's like there's questionable decisions by Josh Boyer in that his defensive play calling on,
Right.
especially on third down. It's just mind boggling some of the stuff that he's choosing to do. It's like I told Andrew, it's literally he's calling defenses where it's all or nothing. Like they're either going to get a sack or a negative play, or they're going to give up about 40 yards and a first down. One of the two.
Just rolling the dice, huh?
Yeah, and it's like Tua did, finally have a good showing.
He played well.
After the
Yeah, he did.
after the 2 weeks where it looked like he was not there at all. It just looked incompetent. But he was hitting his targets. I mean, there's one play where he hit Trent Sherfield in the end zone, but he dropped it. So there was another play right there that you could factor in.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was good to see him play well. So. And all the talk all week was how much snow there was gonna get. Tua doesn't do well in cold weather games. I think that's kind of got pushed aside with how he performed on Saturday.
Yeah, he played pretty well. But another thing I wanted to ask you is a little bit about Mike McDaniel's play calling and how it almost seemed like they got away from the run as the game progressed, right? Because I felt like they were running the ball really well. Do you think they got away from it a little too early?
Well, yeah, Mostert had almost 100 yards in the first quarter. So yeah, it's been the running game was non-existent the last two games, and then they finally got Mostert going in that first quarter, and then like you said, they got away from it. I don't know. It's just like he just needs to find that happy balance between run and pass, but he's a guy that likes to let Tua sling it. So I still think he's going to continue to do that. And I mean, maybe it's just him as a play caller, like. He gets into his zone, and that's what he wants to run because of the different coverages he's seeing. But yeah, it'd be nice to sustain the run, especially in these cold weather games, and then going into like the late games in the year. You're gonna need a running game to ice the clock or to move the ball.
Now, are you worried at all that they might be left out a little bit? That you think they might not close the season out?
Not worried at all because I mean. As a fan, like I've seen it, so I'm numb to it, So it's like
you're so used to the heartbreak, you're numb, dude.
So I mean,
you got that hard shell around your heart now.
Yeah, so it was like there was a game last year, late in the year, where they needed to beat Tennessee to get in, and they just got completely obliterated. So it's like, you know what? Like if they get in, like cool. If they don't, but. I mean, you want to get it. You were 8-3 at one point. You're on a 3-game losing streak, and now like you were in contention for the division crown, and now you're scrapping for a chance to get one of those wild card spots.
OC's like my expectations were 0, and somehow you still let me down.
Is that the Dewey meme from Malcolm in the Middle?
But considering how well he's playing, like I will say that it is an expectation that he gets in. If you've come this far, if like. He led the whole NFL in fan voting for the Pro Bowl.
So I saw that. Yeah.
So it's
Tua
like
did?
Tua did.
Led
all of Hawaii just sending in those submissions, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. And me like 3,000 times a day. So
yeah.
You on Twitter retweet. That's what I was doing. That last night, everything I saw Cowboys retweet.
Yeah. So, but there is an expectation. Like he seemed to turn it around this year. So it's like, come on, like. Let's just get in, get yourself a shot, It'd be nice to see you guys in the playoffs. So there is an expectation for them to get there now.
Right. I mean, because he played well this past week. I mean, this other past 2 weeks he didn't play well, but I think he's had a good enough year to where I think he deserves to sneak in at least. But I think it's just the circumstance that it comes down to, right? Of how also how competitive the AFC is, because you're talking about a team that started off hot and kind of fizzled out. They're not the only ones, right? We see the same thing happening with the Jets. Um, you see the opposite happening with the Bengals, where they didn't start too hot, and now they're starting to heat up, and the same thing with the Jags, and they're starting to heat up. So I feel like the AFC is just so competitive. It's been up and down, and then we saw the opposite in the NFC, where we saw teams that weren't so hot, that we were surprised that that they were I guess on their way out, like the Packers and the Bucks. But then we see these teams who are just rising throughout the season. Um, let's talk about probably the least entertaining comeback ever, and it was the biggest comeback in NFL history, and it was the Vikings and the Colts. Watching that game, dude, it's just none of it made any sense, right? Like the Vikings during that comeback, they still had an interception, they still had, I think it was a turnover on downs, and then somehow, some way, it still found a way to come back. Do you guys think it was more of the Vikings not going away, or it was the Jets and Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan just doesn't like winning, I guess, with big points.
So OC and I obviously were still on the way to the stadium
Right.
when that game was going on. We had put it on the way there just to like caught a couple of glimpses, and we're checking the score. And the whole way there, we're like, holy shit, the Colts are just fucking laying it on the Vikings.
Right.
And then we ate, we got into the stadium, we grabbed a couple of beverages, we found our seats. We sit down, the game's getting ready to start, and just what the fuck is this? 33-33? What in the hell? And so then all of a sudden it became interesting. We went and got a couple more drinks, and we're in like this big old like mezzanine area, and the game is on, and there's like 4 or 5 Vikings like huddled around this giant TV, just screaming their lungs out about this game. And I don't know, man. And then I saw this picture. I showed it to OC. It was like what, OC, like 7 or 8 games that that Matt Ryan was winning, that somehow they lost in the fourth quarter, and they were like all 14 plus point leads.
Right.
So I think Matt Ryan just gets fucked multiple times. Like there's no other ifs, ands, or buts
Right.
about it. Like he can't. His ceiling on offense goes so high, and then his defense is like, if you're gonna
Right.
stop, we're gonna stop. And then that's the end of it. I mean, the Vikings got a good team, but I don't know, to blow a 33-point lead. That's more of an implosion. Like you lost, you didn't get beat type of thing.
And it was the thing. It was weird to me is like you didn't see anything like a huge unbelievable play from the Vikings, right? Like it was kind of just they kind of just chipped away at that lead in the second half. It wasn't anything that came up like big all at once. OC, what did you think, man? What did you think of the game?
I was thinking how Jeff Saturday was gonna lose his job on a Saturday. That was my. But I seriously don't know how he's still. I mean, I guess he's interim, so they're not gonna fire
They're
him.
not
But
gonna
it would have
fire
been
him.
it would have been funny to see an interim head coach fired, just based off of that
Just on the
off of that
performance.
game. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's just two completely different games. Like what? Like it was just like astonishing to see. And then like I'm sitting there like googling like largest comeback, and I'm like, it's 32. This is gonna be the largest one. Like,
Right.
So it was kind of like, and again, the common factor somehow Matt Ryan blows another game.
Yeah.
Is that guy just bad juju? Is he just bad luck, or I mean, just everything
Apparently,
around him
defenses
falls
don't like
apart?
playing for Matt Ryan.
Right.
Right? I mean, yeah, you can say, "Hey, Matt Ryan, how about you score some more points?" But Matt Ryan at the end of the day is like, if the defense can fucking stop someone, that would be great. Like, stop losing.
Right. Is it I guess kind of funny that Kirk Cousins was able to pull this off a little bit? Like I mean, I feel like an old Kirk Cousins would have just screwed it up, right?
Well, I think that Kirk Cousins now has the first largest comeback and the second largest comeback. I think he was tied for or most recently the largest comeback, and that is the "You Like That" game.
Right, I remember
So
that.
apparently, like Kirk Cousins is actually pretty decent when he's down by a bunch of points, and that's it. I also did see a meme that was the all the people lined up in the church with the guns, right? You know what I'm talking about. And then
Oh, okay,
it's
yeah,
like
I
it's
know
like Kirk Cousins prime time, and then it was like the farthest person is Kirk Cousins on a Saturday. It was fucking funny, dude.
no, man. Let's talk about another exciting ending, and that was the Raiders probably winning, pulling it off, and the Patriots losing in Raiders fashion because it feels like the Raiders would lose a game like that, but this time it was the opposite. It was the Patriots. I mean, is Jacoby Myers just about cut from the Patriots just about now? Like, how bad was that? OC, what did you think, man?
Um, I wouldn't say he's cut, but I'm sure Bill Belichick thought about it as soon as he threw
Right?
that ball.
Yeah.
But he's probably their best receiver. There,
Yeah.
you know. So it was just like I thought like there was more time left on the clock. I was like, wait, what are you doing? Like, just get down, get down. What are you doing? Get down. And then I see him chuck the ball, and it's just like, oh my god, they're gonna win this. But it feels like now I understand like what Raider fans go through on a weekly basis because every week it seems like their team is just hanging on by a thread.
Right.
Last week they let um, Baker Mayfield come back on them, you know, and then this week they have that mishap that led to a score. And then if we're gonna talk about controversy, was that like touchdown in the corner of the end zone? Was that in
Right.
or out? Or you know, there's different angles that show that his foot was out.
To me, it should have been out the way I saw it.
So then now we talked about blunders earlier. There could be another one right there. So I mean, it's cool. Like these. I mean, like we said earlier, it doesn't matter like if you're the worst team in the league or the best team in the league. When you're a paid professional, you're these professional teams. It's like it's gonna come down to the wire, you know.
Right.
So
Drew, what did you think, man? Do you think the
I
Raiders
think
deserve to win that one?
I mean, the Raiders. That's such a typical Raiders win, in my opinion. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And then somehow you guys just literally the ball falls in his lap, and he's like, all right,
Right.
well, I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna score. I think like the best part of it is just Mac Jones just getting obliterated on the nastiest stiff arm I've ever seen.
Right.
I think that beats Derrick Henry's stiff arm from a couple
I
seasons
mean,
ago.
well, poor guy. Like I think people were throwing him under the bus for not making the tackles. Like, you go ahead and you
Dude,
tackle Chandler
yeah,
Jones, dude.
good
Yeah,
luck with
good
that.
luck.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not happening. Um, I don't know, man. I guess when it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and it seemed like it's meant to be a win for the Raiders. I think that they're finally starting to figure it out. Too bad it's at the end of the season, and when you figure things out, I think stuff like that goes your way.
Right. It's just, but I mean, what a boneheaded move, right? Like, I don't
Oh
think I've
yeah,
ever seen like an ending like quite that way. Like a
yeah.
blunder that bad, it costs you the game. Like you were in overtime. It's not like you were down by 4 or down by 3 or whatever.
And
you know,
that's the thing. It's a tight game. You still gotta have ball
Right.
safety in mind, right? It's not
yeah,
like you're down where you have like the miracle in Miami, right? Where the
Right.
Patriot they did that to the Patriots. The Dolphins were losing. They had to make something happen regardless.
Right.
The Patriots didn't. They just get tackled. They go into overtime and they still have an opportunity to win the game. That's the only part that's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, see, what were you gonna say?
that's what I was gonna say. The Miami Miracle,
Yeah.
and it's just like two plays that end like that, and it happens against the Patriots, you know. Which isn't
Right.
typical because you think of a Bill Belichick team, they're disciplined,
Right.
they always make the right decisions, and then you see something like this, and you're just like, damn, that's like
That's
even the best guys, it happens to, you know.
that's what I was gonna ask you. I mean, given the last 2 seasons that the Patriots had, and of course the big thing is that the Tom Brady's not there anymore. Was the Patriot Way kind of just a myth? Like you guys talk about how like they go to New England and there's this Patriot Way and things are supposed to be done. But I mean, you watch yesterday's game, they had like a block punt. Like, I mean, not even special teams is being all that good. Their defense is not. I mean, their defense, their DB lets the guy get behind them, and you're up. Just play deep. You know where they're gonna go. but then he lets the receiver get behind him. Derek Carr, throws it into the end zone. We got a tie game because they could have put the game away, right? They had their chance before in regulation to put it away, and then you see the play that happened. Do you guys think the Patriot Way is an actual thing now, or is it just? I mean,
I
you might
think
as well
it's
throw it
they
out.
lost their captain, right? Bill Belichick owns the show, but I think Tom Brady was the leader, right? He kept everyone in line. He kept everything in check. He was the Patriots way. And you really look at the Bucks team that won the Super Bowl. That was Tom Brady's way, right? That was the
Right.
Patriot way. I think it's just lack of leadership on the field. As coaches, we've talked about this before. You can only do so much. You can only show leadership so much.
Right.
But to have a guy on the field doing that leadership role, those qualities, that's a little different. And I think it really just shows that Tom Brady was that Patriot way.
Oh, see, what do you think, man?
I think the Patriot way kind of goes out the window once the best player in the game is gone. Because I feel like he elevated the play of everybody else around him to where there was the Patriot way. There was like a level of excellence or a level of play that they had that everyone kind of gravitated towards. And when you get when Tom Brady left, I think it kind of just diminished or it shined light on all the things he was hiding.
Right.
So now you're starting to see that maybe Bill isn't the greatest of all time, but maybe he was when he had Tom Brady, but now he's just
Right.
kind of like an average coach because he has an average team. Um, so I think the Patriot way was a thing. Now that Tom Brady's gone, I don't really think it's like I don't sit there like Miami, like when they go play the Patriots now. I don't think they've even lost them within the last like 2.5 years. Like I'm not as a fan, I'm not scared of going in and playing in New England. So
Right.
especially now that he's gone. So and I don't I think that goes for everybody around the league. You look at them now and it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we can beat them. Like they don't
Right.
have
Their
Tom Brady
era's
anymore.
over.
Yeah.
The dynasty's done. The era's over. The fear of the Patriots is gone.
Right. That intimidation factor is not there anymore.
Yeah.
Um, well, another thing I wanted to bring up is because I mean, we talk about the Patriot way, and since Tom Brady left, things haven't been going that way. But if you look at New England and if you look at the coordinators that come out of there and try to become head coaches, it doesn't really go all that well, right? Like it's the stuff, I guess, whatever Bill was trying to do never translated to another team. Do you guys
Mm-hmm.
find that kind of weird? Like, and then Tom Brady has always been able to pull it off. Do you think a lot of it has to do that Bill was kind of just doing his thing on defense, and then he's just letting Tom do his thing on offense, and the coordinators were kind of just there for the ride?
It's kind of what it seems like, right? We talk
Right.
about system quarterbacks. Maybe a lot of these coaches are system coaches. They just fit really well under the leadership of Bill Belichick and just letting Tom Brady do Tom Brady things.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what it seems like. It seems like these guys are leaving and they're not being successful. I mean, Patricia's already back. Like he came crawling
Right.
back to Bill Belichick.
The same exact thing that Josh McDaniel had done,
Yeah.
and it's proven again. Like he's still not successful with Las Vegas.
Although he did just beat Bill Belichick.
And well, I mean, he also beat Bill Belichick when Josh McDaniels was at Denver. So yeah, I mean,
Hey, at least you beat your mentor, right?
yeah,
And
for a second
did you
time.
guys watch like after that game ended? Josh had like he was like with Mac for like a good like minute, just like talking
Oh
into
yeah, I
his
saw
ear,
that. Yeah.
and then like gave like Bill Belichick like this like the skimpiest little half-ass hugs that you would see like two coaches that have like no sort of relationship. I kind of expected a little bit more in there, but I think Bill Belichick's just fucking pissed.
He's not that. Bill's not that guy. He's not a sentimental guy. OC, what do you think, Ben?
I think like you say the Patriot way, I think that also came with the staff that they had. So McDaniels did get elevated. I think that's the reason why he got the Raiders job because
Right.
he had all this success, right, with the Patriots, but I think we can all agree that the success came with Tom Brady and how Tom Brady played kind of elevated what Josh McDaniels looked like. So um like you said, Matt Patricia left, didn't work out in Detroit, came back. Flores he was doing decent in Miami and then ends up getting canned.
Right.
So it's
We
like
talked about before shouldn't have happened.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
shouldn't have
shouldn't have
happened.
happened.
But I mean, you
And
get
then
all these
Bill
guys that
O'Brien just
yeah,
completely burns the building down in Houston. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like everyone tries to emulate it, but if you don't have the guy like a Tom Brady,
Hmm.
then I think it's pretty much like I don't know. Is Tom Brady that much of a factor? I mean, I think we can agree and say yeah if he brought a Super Bowl title to Tampa.
Right.
Yeah, I mean he is that factor, right? I mean he's the
Hmm.
greatest of all time. I think 95% of all football fans will agree Tom Brady is the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
So I think we're onto something. That's why it works so
Hmm.
well with these other coaches. They had Tom Brady. They had the greatest of all time to
Right.
do it.
Hmm. I guess he was the main guy in that building, and but I mean everybody kind of just pointed at Bill, thinking it was him, but he was just another piece of the puzzle, right? And then Tom Brady was probably just the guy putting everything together. Um, Anything else you guys want to bring up, or you guys want to move on from the NFL and let's talk about the bowl game a little bit?
Nah, all my picks are doing like shit right now. But I think I picked the Packers. They're
I think I
winning.
think we all picked the Packers this week. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you
I,
were the only one that picked Seattle this week. You
I
d
was.
dickhead. Yeah. OC, anything else you want to bring up, man?
Um, no, those are. Do we
Uh,
really want to talk about officiating?
I mean,
I think we talked about it already earlier in the year.
yeah, I mean, it's just it is what it is. It's part of the game. Calls are going to be missed. I mean, I know probably specifically you're bringing it up because of the pass interference last night with the Commanders and the Giants, but
Well, there's like multiple calls. The Raider one, the one from
right.
last night. There was one in the Dolphin game late.
Hmm.
Like it's
There's
all over
multiple
the
calls.
place.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the
Some pass
Niners with
interference calls.
the roughing the passer call on Boza, which still no explanation. Not that I can justify, right?
And you know what? It's not just a trend in the NFL, right? This is a trend in the NBA. It was a trend in the World Cup. It is
Right.
a trend in the MLB with umpires. Officiating is going downhill, and I don't really know why, other than these. I think these guys are afraid to miss a call, right? I think that's the biggest concern. I think because more often than not, it's a call that shouldn't have been called being made. In my opinion, that's what I
Mm-hmm.
see. So like the roughing the passer that you were talking about, probably shouldn't have been roughing the passer, but it was called roughing the passer because I think referees are afraid to not make that call anymore.
I'll see. What do you think, man?
Yeah, like Drew said, I think especially late in games, like they don't want to be the reason why the game extends or there's a
Right.
controversial call. But then you look back at some of these calls and you're like, how do you not call that?
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's like I mean, you don't want to go back to the. I think they did it 3 or 4 years ago where they were allowing to review
The pass
pass
interference.
interfere,
Yeah.
and that went out the window. I guess it's just like you're gonna have to live with human error at times. So it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Well, I think specific for football when there's just too much of a judgment call type thing, with the pass interference, with the holding on the offensive line. Like they keep saying that there's holding on every play. It's just when you get caught.
Hmm.
Okay, then what's holding, right? When there's guys who get away with it and guys who don't. There's a bunch of stuff. I think there's too much judgment calls in the NFL to where you honestly just got to leave it up to the official, right? I guess same thing goes with soccer and the NBA. It's a lot of judgment calls. There's no black or
Hmm.
white. It's just it is what it is, right? And I just we try to get it as perfect as we can, but there's too much human error involved, and I don't think we're ever gonna get it there. It's just
Right.
we just gotta live and die with the calls, and then just move on. Just part of the game, right?
Yep. Yep. Especially in like these physical contact sports, you get football, basketball. It's real tough. They're all bang bang plays. I think
Yeah.
eventually you'll see technology take over officiating in baseball, but it's not a contact sport. It's a little bit more clear cut, black and
Right.
white, on balls and strikes.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It like we said, it's been part of the game for decades.
Right.
Human error is involved in officiating.
Is what it is, man. Do you guys want to go ahead and get into the bowl game?
Sure. What
Sure.
do you want to know? How fun it was? How exciting it was? How we left your
I
ass
mean,
back at home?
I
Damn.
mean, like I said, I had to leave my bank
I
account
know.
make the decision for me because the weekend before was at the Niner Bucks game, which the NFL tickets aren't cheap, especially right now in Santa Clara, and especially when it's a game that has involved Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
For sure. I mean, these tickets
Uh,
to just the Bucks were like 10% more expensive than any other game for the
Tom
Niners.
Purdy.
And
Tom
then Tom
Purdy.
Purdy, exactly, and
Tom
getting to see
Purdy.
that. But yeah, I guess what did you guys see from? I guess the main question is Hayner going to get drafted? Do you think he'll get a job in the NFL?
I hope he does.
And this is the
My
quarterback from Fresno State, just so
yeah,
people know. Yeah.
just so people know.
Yeah.
I would love for him to get drafted. His career at Fresno State, I think as a starter is 18-5 the last couple of seasons. I
Right.
think off the top of my head, he did so well under Coach Tedford, and I think we definitely would have had him stick around this last season if Tedford didn't come back. He entered the transfer portal and then it's like, oh, you know what, Tedford's staying or Tedford's going back, I'll go back.
Right.
Will he get drafted? I'm not going to hold my breath on it. I would love for him to get drafted, and I think we saw a couple of polls where he was a top 10 quarterback in the draft. That leads me to believe maybe he will. But if he doesn't, I wouldn't be shocked. I expect him to at least get signed somewhere and get a shot at making a team. The kid's good. And he can sling the ball. Like he's really good at throwing. He's just a little small for the NFL, and he's not super mobile. He can scramble out the pocket if needed, but right now I'm sure he's still got that lingering ankle injury, and he's walking around with like the world's biggest ankle brace.
He was supposed to be out for the whole year. I mean,
Yeah. But you know what? He came back. He rejuvenated that Fresno State team and fired off 9 consecutive wins to win the conference and win a bowl game. So, dude's a fucking beast. Like he's got that dog in him to get the job done.
at the
So
very least, he's a gamer. Yeah. For
oh
sure.
yeah, he's that guy that you want, even if it's an invite to camp.
Right.
He's gonna give you that effort. He's gonna put up a fight, whether he's looking to be QB1 or QB3. He's gonna put in that fight.
He's almost. He kind of reminds me a little bit about Heineke from the Commanders
Yeah.
right now. He doesn't have the measurables or the tangibles that you would want, but at the end of the day, dude's a gamer. Probably win you some games. OC, what do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think he gets just because he's considered like to be one of the top 10 guys going into the draft, like at the quarterback position, and it's so hard to find guys. I think he does. Someone will take a chance on him, whether it's late round. I still think he goes like maybe 6th or 7th round,
Probably.
just because teams probably someone who really wants him on their team will probably try to just draft him late because they don't want him to go to like an undrafted free agent type of role, because then you can pick where you want to go at that point.
Right.
So I think somebody will try to steal him late if he's still hanging around there.
I think if he went to a good situation, like a good team that had a good foundation and was just looking for a backup, I think he'd probably serve that role pretty well. Because like we've seen it this year, especially with the Niners, you go down to QB3, you never know what could happen, right? But yeah, I think I agree with you guys. I think he'll go 6th or 7th, maybe. And at worst case scenario, he just becomes a free agent, and I think he'll probably get picked up somewhere, for sure. You guys want to get into the picks?
Sure.
Sure.
What was
Let's
it? Hold on.
go ahead, OC.
How many? I'm trying to see how many guys were drafted last year at the quarterback position. I think it was 9. Yeah,
I think
Yeah, it was
Purdy
9.
was this. Oh, okay.
he was
Another,
the 8th
drafted.
quarterback taken.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of draft picks out of Fresno State, I just want to point out my boy Deron Bland on the Dallas Cowboys showing out. He's got 4 interceptions in 3 games. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, but the rest of the
He had a
defense is
couple
just
against
taking.
Yeah,
the
yes, the
stuff.
defense is ass. Yeah. The rest of the defense right now is god awful.
Yeah. I mean, they'll turn it around. Michael Parsons there. We can still go on that debate between him and Boza, but that'll just go on for hours. Just like it's not going to be a Twitter thread in this podcast. I won't allow it. Let's go ahead and let's get into the picks. And let's go the Jaguars at the Jets on Thursday night. You guys got?
I'm gonna roll with the red hot Jaguars. They're coming off 2 big wins.
OC?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the team that has the quarterback that's playing better right now, which is Trevor Lawrence. So feel bad for Zach Wilson, who still can't seem to process a cover 2. So
down the middle, it's open.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy that's been hot. So I'm gonna roll with the Jags on that one.
Yeah, I think it's a sweep for this podcast. So we might have just jinxed the Jaguars this week.
Yeah, we might have.
But
poor Matt.
Poor
Matt.
But I feel okay because Zach Wilson's behind center taking snaps, so I think that kind of balances it out. Let's go the Bucks at the Cardinals, which both teams having disappointing seasons. Who you guys got?
That's tough. That's tough because it's a coin flip, and so you want to flip towards the side that's got Tom Brady. But that team's been so bad. The Bucks can't stop the run, and James Conner is going to get a lot of touches. I'm going to go with the Cardinals at home.
Okay, OC.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks because Cardinals. Who do they have? Colt McCoy got knocked out of the game Sunday, right?
Oh, that's right, he did. That loss to the Broncos.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna roll with Tom Brady. Eventually, he has to win, right?
I'm gonna stick with Tom and the Bucks. I mean they looked a little bit better against the Bengals. They had them in the ropes and they had a lead too, and they gave up. I gave up that lead. I think it was like a 17 or 14 point lead or something like that, and they gave that up. But I think it's going to be a bounce back game for them. The Cardinals are just terrible. Is Cliff done? Like, he's got to be done, right?
I'm out on Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. What do you think, OC?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about how he was one of the guys early on in the year that was kind of on the hot seat. And I mean, yeah, granted he don't have Baker he don't have Kyler right now, but still, even when he did have him, couldn't figure it out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that experiment is pretty much done for.
Yeah, the air raid stuff, because I mean, I thought it was kind of weird when Cliff got the job in the first place because he had just had the experience over at Texas Tech. And that kind of just carried him into the NFL because of that air raid offense. But, yeah, it just didn't work out. And let's go with the Chargers and the Colts. And I think they're going to go ahead and give the Colts a 35-point lead just to see what happens.
So for the first half of this game, I'm going to pick the Colts. For the overall winner, I'm going to pick the Chargers.
Oh, see?
Yeah, I think the Chargers pretty much got it rolling these last 2 weeks. Beat Miami and then they beat Tennessee. Right. They're trying to get into that playoff push, so they need this game. So, yeah, like Drew said, the Colts might jump out to a 40-point lead and somehow blow that. So.
With Justin Herbert, man, I think with the Chargers letting Justin Herbert finally cook and letting him do his thing. Now that he has Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Chargers. We'll see how it goes there. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. If you want to go ahead and close it out, Drew.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you for watching. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. Appreciate you hearing German call out the Cowboys on one of their 4 losses this season, as always. And
can always count on that, man.
Hearing our expectations for Jake Haener. We'll catch you guys next week.
All right. See you guys.